Hey guys, welcome here to my channel and today to another episode of Coaster B's Coaster Review, where today I will be reviewing Millennium Force at Cedar Point as requested in my previous review video. Before I get into today's review, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also give me a thumbs up for this video, and while you're at it, I'll put a link up the top to some of my other videos where I've been playing some theme park simulation games, creating some of your favourite coasters. So, Millennium Force, a great ride, really enjoyed it. So let's get into the review system. As you know, there's 5 categories and each category gets a maximum points of 5. So first up, we have smoothness. So built in the year 2000, this ride was built by Intamin and it is very smooth. It's 20 years old, but it definitely rides very well. It's not bumpy really at all. I can't really remember it being rough when I rode it. And so for that, I really enjoyed it. So for smoothness, I am going to give it a 5 out of 5. So the next category we have theming. Now this ride doesn't really have a theme at all. It's Millennium Force, it was built in the year 2000, the Millennium, and that's basically it as far as it goes. I do think the station's quite cool, it's quite like a futuristic style station, but there isn't really a theme. It's just a Giga Coaster, the first Giga Coaster in fact, and so for that I am going to give this theming a 1 out of 5. So next up we have re-rideability. Is this ride re-rideable? And it's very smooth, it's very enjoyable, but it's very intense in some spots. The first overbank after the first drop made me grey out every single time, and it wasn't particularly a sensation that I really enjoyed. And every time I went on the ride that happened, and so I didn't quite enjoy that bit. It's quite a enjoyable coaster, it's very long, it's very drawn out, it's got some nice moments, not too much airtime, but it definitely is re-rideable in some aspects. I think if you could handle that first curve, then it's definitely re-rideable, but for me it wasn't a coaster that I could sit on over and over and over again, so I did give this one actually a 2 out of 5 for re-rideability. So next up we have comfort, and now I do find these Intamin first gen Giga trains very comfortable. These are the same trains that they use on Goliath at Walibi Holland and also on Expedition GeForce at Holiday Park in Germany, and they're very comfy. I have nothing to say about them that I don't like. I think the seats are comfy, the lap bar's comfy, some of them have a seatbelt, some of them don't. This one does have a seatbelt I believe, which can be restricting for some riders, but for me I'm quite an average guy, so it's really okay, it doesn't bother me. And Millennium Force doesn't have that much airtime to give, so the seatbelt isn't really restricting the airtime. So for comfort, the trains are very comfortable and the ride is very smooth, so I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. So up last we have my overall general opinion on this coaster. Now Millennium Force was the very first Giga Coaster that I rode, and so when I got to Cedar Point, it was the first coaster that I headed to. It was really something that I'd waited my whole life to ride, and so when I rode it, I think I was expecting more, and so when I came off the ride I was a little bit underwhelmed. Now that's not to say that this is a bad coaster, I do think it is a great ride, but I just think I built it up so much in my head over the years that when I actually got to ride it, it just wasn't what I thought it would be. Now it's a great height, it's an incredible view from the top of the lift hill. That first drop is really steep, but I felt like the curve into the drop was a bit too large, so you didn't get that sense of coming out of your seat, that kind of airtime that you would get for instance say on Mako at SeaWorld. But the ride is very fast, it has some great speed throughout the whole thing, some great curves and hills and overbank turns. It does lack some airtime unfortunately in places, and like I said previously, that first overbank out of the first drop is a bit too intense for me, definitely made me black out. But I really love that last little tiny airtime hill at the end of the layout. I think that's really fun. I rode the coaster in the back, in the middle and in the front, and I am a back row rider type of person, and I felt like this ride definitely gave a really intense experience in the back. But in the front of the ride, it definitely gave the airtime. Now, if you're looking for airtime on this ride, there isn't much, but if you do want some, you're going to get it in that front row. And the front row, it was a great experience. I absolutely loved it. So it's not a bad ride at all. I did have a really good time, and I did ride this coaster a few times, maybe 3 times out of my time I was at Cedar Point, but I did prefer other coasters in the park. Now, for that, I am going to give this a total of 4 out of 5 for my overall general opinion. So for today's review, Millennium Force has scored a total of 17 points out of 25. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any other requests for which coasters I should review, let me know down below in the comment section, and if I've ridden it, I will review it. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos where you're at it, and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!